What's up, everybody? Who we
Oh.
have in chat? Let's see. Today we're gonna go over our footage from this past. What's up, James? From this past Monday, and maybe if there's a whole bunch of time, which there probably won't be, we'll get into, I guess, some of Sunday stuff. But let's get started. So yeah, we had some really packed mats on Monday, which was great. We got Justin and Aiden getting after it. And
We
Taylor
got
and
Steven in
Joe.
the chat too.
What's up, Steven? Mitch is doing Mitch things to Ronnie. Weak little shot from Aiden there. And that's what happens. I'm excited to watch Justin's footage today because he was telling me some of the stuff he was working from Craig Jones's latest DVD, Power Bottom, as it's affectionately known. Really, no better way to, I think, study outside of class than some of the instructionals you can find on BJJ Fanatics. And, you know, instead of like perusing YouTube for little clips here and there without any context, they've been putting out some good stuff. And I'm not, as much as I would love for us to be sponsored by them, we're not. But we've definitely learned a lot from their stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really liking the attack here, Justin, on the Kimura with Aiden. I don't know how this ends up. I didn't watch this ahead of time, but I think that's a very good use of attacking the guard in order to initiate the pass. Gets him worried. And
Yeah, definitely. The something I know you and I've done it a lot. I think Luke likes to do this with the Kimura, switching to a one-armed or a one-handed grip here. So,
Yes.
right, his left hand would go from his own wrist down to Aiden's, but he'd have to grab up at the knuckle line. We've talked a lot about that. It was a whole 3 times. Switching to that grip frees up your right arm and allows you to push at the knees, at his knees, to help get your knee free and continue passing. And then you can also finish the Kimura if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. I do that quite a lot. I really enjoy that grip.
Joe's skipping around Taylor's guard, up in the mount.
I feel like, is that Danny and Caleb? And Danny's got a triangle on Caleb. A Hantai. Wrong way triangle.
Is it? I didn't see the setup.
I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
He has it fully locked up or what? Yeah.
Pretty much ended up in like a rear triangle by the
Yeah.
looks of it.
Yeah. That's pretty slick.
So what happened with Aiden and Justin here?
Oh. That's what with these streams when we got so many people on the mat, like I
Yeah.
lose sight, you know.
So Aiden's working that version of half guard, like the tight waist. He's still using his bottom leg, or what I would call his bottom leg or his inside leg to wrap up with Justin. This is where I often talk about using the outside leg, in this case Aiden's left leg, and taking that over inside Justin's foot and using that it's kind of a, it's not a knee lever. Knee lever is a different technique, but it's using the lower leg and pulling it back to you in a way that's really uncomfortable. The knee doesn't want to move that way, and couple that with a tight waist grip, and you have a whole variety of attacks you can initiate there.
And I really like, so Justin, you since you're in the chat for sure that I know of, right? Can you go back to the overhook portion? So he gets an overhook on Aiden. So number one, when Aiden has that underhook, you can no longer start to knee cut pass, right? It's a very dangerous pass for this reason, right? That you have your back exposed. At one point right before this, you had an overhook on Aiden. And once you secure the overhook, now you can start circling and coming around in front to snatch the front headlock. Are you able to go back a little bit, Matt?
Sorry,
I know we don't want to take up. Keep going. Here, pause. All right, so here you have the overhook on Aiden, and now, you know, this is a battle, right? Of who has the overhook and who has the underhook. If you, and that battle comes down to hip height and head height, and you should know that from Craig's DVD, right? He talks about scrambles, and especially this position is a battle for head height and hip height. When Aiden's hips rise above yours, then he has the dominant underhook, and he can start looking for, you know, whether it be back takes or whether, see how he's gaining hip height on you, and now he's all of a sudden, you've lost all sight of the overhook, and he's in a dominant position. So your aim in that overhook battle is to put pressure down on the shoulder, heist your hips up, and circle around towards the head. So you'd be trying to get your leg out, circling around and getting him back into that front headlock position that you had early on in the roll.
What's up, Austin?
Austin, we had an hour yesterday together. It was just me and him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's going on, Cody? What happened with Joe and Taylor here? Can't really see what sub Joe's working, but he does get himself a tap.
Yeah, couldn't tell.
I mean, it looked like he had just like a super tight gift wrap. Like maybe there was a discomfort thing going on.
I talked to Joe about slipping the non-gift wrap hand in to secure the choke. You know, kind of like an Ezekiel.
Right.
At one point, maybe he
working
did that. Yeah. Just a guess.
Aiden's working Anaconda. Well, kind of. He's got the left arm gripped through, but Justin's controlling the left hand. I think Danny triangled Caleb again.
Nice. He's going for the Peruvian.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna start a separate scoreboard for denying
Kimura. Yeah. Denying the Peruvian.
Yeah.
Justin's got that Kimura grip. Okay. He lost the Kimura grip.
I've seen like 50 mat returns from Mitch to Ronnie over the course of this round. They just restart up and he's like, yeah, let's go. Now he's pinning her.
So Taylor's doing a really good job of keeping his hands nice and tight to Joe's hips. It's not always easy, right? Like people are always going to be people who are attacking from the top are going to be going after wrist control, 2-on-1s and things. But I like the determination that he's got there, trying to keep his hands down low towards the hips. That's the only way that you have any chance of escaping.
Yeah, this little scenario, right? Joe's going 2-on-1 on one hand, just that's a losing battle for the guy on bottom. But when he gets himself into an Americana position, like a well-timed bridge will open up your escapes from this. I won't tell you guys to bridge like crazy and spaz your way out, but oftentimes, like if someone puts me in an Americana with a 2-on-1, I know right where their hands are. I'm not too concerned about many other things, and I can bide my time to do what Taylor does here, which is a nice hip bump to get Joe's hand off of him, right? Joe's got to either fall, right, if his hips are elevated and he's taken to the side, or he's got to base out. Now you got a one-on-one game. His hand, in this case, his cross-side hand on Taylor's, it's a little bit more evenly matched, and you could tell, Joe's base gets disrupted, at least for a moment. Like Taylor may not be able to do anything with it here. Joe may recover, but that's your opportunity to start escaping, right? Joe switches to the modified mount, and Taylor can start working his modified mount escapes, or whatever the case is. But a well-timed bridge can get you out of a jam pretty easily.
And Justin, I know it was late and the bell went off. Good job getting your shoulders down to the mat as soon as possible, right? Like that's a very well-timed escape. Hips were down on the mat, shoulders are next. That's the way that you want to escape the back for sure. I like that go behind that Aiden just hit.
Yeah, I think it was the arm drag.
His arm drag,
and then he ended up getting the angle on him.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Mitch and Justin.
I hope you and Jason come into view. I don't know if you guys made it over in front of the camera.
We wind up there eventually, I think.
Yeah. No, Jason was stoked to roll yesterday.
Yeah.
Aiden getting savage.
Nice.
So from that arm drag to getting the back, which is the whole point of the arm drag, right? It's exposing the back. In the best case, ends up getting his rear naked strangle. I think Danny's working a Darce.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see who he was rolling with. Maybe James.
It looks like James.
Yeah.
I think Mitch got a Americana on Justin.
Cross-side.
Yep.
Aiden right into a guillotine.
Yep.
Yeah, and we saw that earlier with him. He kind of took a light, a non-committal kind of shot on Justin, and you end up getting yourself in bad positions when you do that. You either want to, I don't want to say you need to hit a blast double or anything, or go crazy with it.
At least commit to the angle, right? Like you got to come around.
Yeah. And if you're gonna stay in front, in my personal preference is to go really low, hit the low single, like the John Smith low single I've been talking about. But yeah, if you end up just kind of kneeling down and attacking the guy's legs, he's easily gonna sprawl on you and either guillotine you or get you in turtle position. just really likes his dynamic arm bars.
He does. Yeah. Good survival on Justin's part for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and Justin, you're doing good not to get your elbow across the center line, but it looks like he forces it here. Yeah, like for this time in here, you know, when you're setting up your elbow escape, you look really solid. It looks like he just gets that wrist control and manages to cut his angle behind you and force it into place. What is happening with Aiden and Taylor?
Looks like a triangle escape of some kind.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Taylor got Aiden in a triangle, and Aiden's sitting to his butt to work that kind of body extension. You gotta keep your arm safe when you do that. That's of the utmost importance, right? That you don't leave your arm out, palm up, or get it manipulated to palm up. Taylor can still. I mean, he's got long limbs, so he might be able to work through this. Looks like he's getting his head free. There we go. And does he do it? Nice. He sits into almost a cross ashi.
Yeah.
But it looks like he ends up in more of a knee bar. Let's see if he gets it. It's cool. I love to see it. Now he's in. So he's got this, like, I'd like to see Aiden get his legs inside.
Yeah, his legs are in danger there.
Yeah.
That cross-side straight ankle lock is not as effective as you might think. Yeah, I'm glad he switched to the same side.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't have the ideal grip for it.
Yep.
It's hard to see
exactly
what's going on.
Very high up. Like your hand, in this case, his hand has to be very, very high up on his chest.
Yeah. But looks like he got the tap.
Yep. He passed it back over.
Yeah, the cross-side straight ankle grip. I love it. Like, it's when I learned that blew open straight ankle locks for me.
Yeah.
Especially when dealing with cross ashi, when attacking from cross ashi. So remind me, Aiden, if you watch this, bring that up, and either Mike or I can go over that with you.
Yep. So James in the back with Danny. Very heavy on the head. He has been on the past two passes.
Let's see.
Yeah, so he's got him in this front headlock position. He winds up throwing his shoulder into it and popping Danny over. Like this. Boom.
Okay.
And then from here, he's trying to go into a mount. Danny catches him into a half guard again. And he grabbed his foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice way to just get safe. Not hang out in Danny's in the danger zone with Danny with his triangle.
Yeah, his closed guard is getting better and better. And just take a notice for those who aren't in like who are in the chat, right? And it's when Danny feels like he's no longer, attacking from his back, he gets up. Like he's not just sitting there waiting. Yeah, he's very aggressively getting back into the fight.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. That's what we're really looking for here. Good pummeling.
Cool.
Yeah.
Danny and Cole in the back. Yeah, for all the new names in the chat, welcome. Throw us a follow.
Yeah.
If you guys are into jiu-jitsu, ask us if you have any questions. Whatever you want. If you like what you're seeing, if you're getting anything out of it, you could support us at coffee.com/MOBJJ. That's Mitch and Duncan.
I was trying to figure out who had who was on bottom.
Man, Duncan's so close to just working like an X guard,
He is, yeah. It's a futile effort trying to, hike back up and wrestle Mitch down.
Yeah.
But I do like to see it, right? Like you shouldn't just play off your back, right? You should always be trying to aggress and get back up and fight from there.
Yeah.
I have a difficult time turning the corner on Veronica when she has me in this position, so I'm curious to see how Caleb does.
Yeah, having his head on the outside in that single, in that high
Yeah.
position isn't ideal. Right? If you think about it, his own head is in the way of cutting to the outside. If he wanted to come around this way, right, he'd have to turn his head, and it's being blocked by Ronnie's hip.
Yeah, and so an interesting, also something interesting about that double leg is if he wanted to step that double leg up, it would be his right foot that would have to stand up, and his left foot would have to,
Like if you wanted to transition from here.
Yeah, if he wanted to take her down, he would have to have his legs reversed.
Right.
His right foot would need to be planted. And then like what John has taught me from here, right, is that my left foot in that case, if I wanted to take Veronica down, my left foot would have to be outside of Veronica's right foot in order to effectively start the lift. If I try to take her off, like up when I'm off balance like that, it's just like not, the weight distribution isn't right.
Right.
But if I can spread my legs to where it almost provides like a knee block on her right leg by me stepping up the left leg, then it gives me an easier way of turning her over. Yeah, as he stands up there, his head's way below his waist, and she can take him right over.
Yeah.
Front headlock position for Mitch on Duncan. He's just gonna barrel him down.
That was the merciful takedown there.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's being very nice and going for the Darce. Yeah.
Was it a Darce?
Yeah, I think he had the left arm was under.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he switched up. I thought he had worked at guillotine.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good to see.
Yeah.
Working some new subs. It's exactly what we need. Is Mitch learning how to submit. So one thing for Cole here with Danny, right here, there's no need to start creating this space, right? That like as he's bringing his head away, he kind of brings his chest up in a way. Like even if he's heavy over the hips, he's stuck in half guard right now. I want to say because they've been there for a minute. I want to see head and shoulder control, right? Like getting with Cole's right arm, getting an underhook on Danny, left arm going under the head, taking your head to the mat, and just controlling the top half guard position from there, right?
Yep.
Okay, it looks like he got himself free. But yeah, when you can control the head and the shoulders from half guard, that's what really opens up your passing at that point. It makes it a hell of a lot easier.
But Caleb's got some good setups coming here. I'm wondering if he's going to go for the armbar on Veronica.
Yeah, it looks to be that way.
And it's hard to pull it off on Veronica. She likes to do that turtle up, and she's very strong there.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
she's...
it gives the back, right?
Yeah.
Which is good for him to see. Nice gator roll by Mitch.
Yeah, I want to see that. Caught the end of it.
There. Boom.
Nice.
Yep. And then he switches to the Darce.
Got to give Duncan some help with that one.
Yeah, for sure. Right? I mean, not an easy thing against somebody like Mitch. So yeah, we got to go over that.
And late stage Darces are already like super difficult to get out of. Like if Danny gets to a locked up Darce on me, it's the end of the match.
Yeah. Conan talks a lot about that in his teaching as well, is the Anaconda Strangle and the Darce Strangle. Once they're locked up, it's very difficult to get out of.
Yeah.
That like you said, that late stage escape is very difficult.
I just want to highlight Mitch and Duncan here. Duncan had an opportunity for a really nice little like cartwheel over Mitch's back to come up in top position, right? If you think about it.
Yep.
It's good arm drag, and then if he could have gotten his legs over and gotten like cross-eyed on Mitch,
yeah,
that could have been a nice little highlight reel pass, or I guess front headlock entry.
I like that cradle that he's got going on.
So yeah, we gotta tighten up Cole's half guard, top side half guard work. So that move that where Danny just captured Cole's leg, it was kind of sort of what Luke went over in class earlier. Just I think that was the variation. I can't remember. What are we on? Open guard week or something?
Yeah, we're on open guard.
Okay, so it wasn't from half guard, but it looks similar. So a little note with Mitch and Duncan here. See how heavy Mitch is into Duncan right now? Like, I mean, he's completely at an angle. His head's way outside of his feet. This is a good time for Duncan to do to Mitch what Mitch is about to do to him, right? Mitch is pushing into Duncan to load him up and bait him into pushing back. And as soon as he does, right, look where you can kind of tell in a way where the head position is relative to the feet. If these guys are kind of like A-framed, that they're matching each other's force. And then watch Mitch. He brings his left hand up here and does like a little throw by to expose the back, right? And then eventually takes him down.
It's the same cradle too that he did previously.
Yeah, just a good example of the push-pull dynamic at work.
Yep.
I don't know what happened with.
Looks like
I think
either.
Caleb maybe got an armbar on Ronnie.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I don't know, but we don't have it. We have her tapping. Can't give Caleb any imaginary points. I'm just
Like,
kidding.
whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, right. He'll complain about it if I don't. And then what does Mitch get here on Duncan? I think he just gets an Americana or a straight arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Or, yeah.
Yeah, Mitch was pretty fired up. He competed on Saturday in the absolute division. Didn't go his way, but I think he came into class looking to improve. Oh, damn! Danny almost locked up a triangle on Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna jump ahead. All right, Austin and Aiden. Are your knees still bothering you?
They started hurting again, but yeah, I'm just. Cole wanted to start down because his knees were hurting. I think I was starting up on most people. My knees have started hurting me again.
Yeah. Damn, Aiden and Austin are having a wild scramble.
Austin's digging for Aiden's digging for a leg on Austin. Like for a cross ashi position.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea, James. Just fight hard, pull guard. If you can manage to train and you're okay, you feel safe training with a roughed up neck, then yeah, sit to guard, especially against Mitch.
Yeah, for sure.
So Austin has a weird tie up here with Aiden. Yeah.
How did he? So hang on. What did Aiden do in order to turn him over?
Well, I want to see how they even got here. They had a really strange little scramble that took place. So Austin has, I guess, what you could call the inside leg, or I guess Aiden's top leg, and like a weird triangle.
Oh, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here, Aiden has the dominant position on you, right? Like, even though you're triangling and pinching his legs together, he still has that cross ashi position. I guess instead of crossing your legs and pinching your knees together, what I would advise is a strong cross face, like with your right hand going, straight up, and then extending your legs back to try and get your legs out of that position.
Yeah, once he gets your hips over his, you don't really have much of an option. You're just gonna go where he puts you.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Austin. It's awkward, and if you don't understand the position, then it's kind of weird to really do anything out of.
Yeah. You're just driving through Cole.
Yeah, so I kind of want to explain what I did and why I did it, because we always tell people not to do this shit, and then I'm sitting here doing it. So you see how I'm locking my hands together?
Yeah.
And doing that. Okay, the reason is because I know the way that Cole moves, and Cole's his attacking positions. He actually really likes to stay very very heavy on my head, which is not abnormal at all. But the way that he does that is he actually like drives his chest down and he brings his lower back up off of the mat. So when he does that, it sucks. Like it really sucks having to eat that type of pressure. And so what I'm doing is I'm clamping down on top of him so that he can't jack up on me. And then the reason I'm starting to climb up the back is because I noticed that I trapped his foot a little bit in order to start taking him over. So I felt like I took his leg base away. His left leg base was gone, and so I felt like if I could turn my body around, I would again have to battle for that hip height position in order to drive him in that 45-degree angle and take him over. So I wouldn't advise this in a normal setting. This was just me kind of needing to get out of that mount position. That was the only way that I saw that I was going to be able to do that at that time. He does a really good job in this role of keeping my posture broken. I don't know that he's really trying to set anything up, but I literally, as many inside bicep ties as I'm trying to go for, I didn't feel at any point that I could stand up, which is not normal. Not normal for me. Normally I could see it and I can stand up. And he was doing a very good job of controlling my posture, and the way that he's turning his hips on me make me second guess standing up as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. He's really keeping you off balance through most of that.
He was, and like notice that he did not unlock his legs, and he literally just came around and took my back with crossed feet. I have no idea how he did that, but I was not expecting it.
Yeah, so I guess he must get your elbow across. Okay, so you get your hands to the ground.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I guess he does kind of work his way around you.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly.
Yep.
I think Bertram would be proud of that. Just like how he loves to talk about just close guard, pulling knees, and getting the guy off to one side or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yet again, I'm fighting to get myself out of a bad position with Cole. So
for Austin, one thing you can do here when someone's in mount where they're not postured up and they're sitting super heavy, that's where you can work your kipping escape, right? Where you no longer are framing across the hip, but your hands on the hips, feet up in the air, and you kind of flick your feet as you push them down, as you push their hips down your legs. The other thing, if you do want to work some of the escapes you're more familiar with, you've got to attack his feet. His feet are like way underneath you and together. So I think you're doing the right thing of like flattening a leg out. Like I could tell your left leg, knees close to the ground. You would be attempting to work an elbow escape here. But those only work when you can get his feet separated. So in this case, since it looks like you tend to like escaping on the left side, I would use my right foot to step on his left foot, right? And try to push it open to give yourself the opportunity to work that elbow escape. Yeah, because he's just kind of grapevining and keeping his feet pretty tight. so Cole ended up back in the mount.
Yep. Thought I got out at some point though.
Such a terrible spot to be.
Yeah. So here, okay. So yeah, I think this is where I'm starting to come out. Have we just gone over last? This was Monday. Yeah. No, that's it. Caleb. So, okay. So I ended up back in mount on Cole from a simple. I think what we talked about really early on is that the half guard is half guard where my outside leg goes over towards the inside, right? So I switch legs. I go to a kind of like almost like you would set up a like a scorpion lock or a lockdown position. That's my leg configuration. Yep. So my right leg in this case goes in between Cole's legs, and then I extract my left leg out so I can plant it on the mat. Yep. and heist my body up.
Yeah, and you're working the tight waist grip, not up by the shoulder line or the lat.
Right.
And the cool thing about this is if he decides with his, it's obvious which way you're going to take him. You're going to roll to your right, his yep. left, right? And it looks like he's committed on something here with his left arm, either that I don't know if he has a whizzer or if he's just gripping on
I think it's a head. I think it's just my head. Mm-hmm.
If he decides to jettison that grip and base out, he bases out and completely opens up your ability to come up and around and take the back, right? So
that's right.
Getting people in these dilemmas where they're either going to be swept and put on their back, or they base out and get their back taken, right? Those are the kinds of things you want to start setting up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
that was a nice leg pummeling too, just to get around for the pass.
Yeah, thank you. That literally, I was thinking about that as I go. I'm like, shit, can I get around the legs? Because his legs are it's a formidable position for him, or with him. But then Aiden also, I can't tell, and Austin, maybe you can explain. I think he has almost like that Dead Orchard type, like a double arm lock setup.
Yeah, basically the top lock, but like a figure 4 top lock.
Yep.
Or whatever. Yeah, because it didn't look like he had one arm in, one arm out.
Right. Austin, you may not have been able to feel it. Go ahead.
When you shove him like that, do it on his stupid face next time. Watch. Blow.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Aiden.
He's trying to shoot for a triangle, but you had your arm in. So yeah, so it was some sort of top lock. Yeah, so the trick with the top lock, Austin, if you haven't figured it out, which it sounds like you intuitively just did, right? But the top lock is all about isolating a shoulder. And you see, can you pause it here?
Yep.
So, and of course we have the, now he has not the top lock, he has a full triangle, right? Omote Senkaku. And, but if you think about this position where you are, if you are able to get your left shoulder through the triangle, then in terms of past his thigh, then you're no longer in trouble, right? Because you have now space in between his thigh and your neck through your shoulder. And that's effectively the same concept as a top lock. So if he has his legs crossed instead of them figure forward like they are right now, shoving your left shoulder through the top lock effectively gets you out of the top lock, and that will alleviate the armbar stress and the triangle threat. don't know if that made any sense, but we can of course go over that next time we're in.
It's the
we're in
worst
class
part
together.
is like seeing it in our mind's eye and trying to describe
Yeah.
it and knowing that
Yep.
it probably is just a jumbled verbal mess.
Right.
Plugging ahead. All right, cool. Oh, I think this is the first time we got Joe on in
Mm-hmm.
a good couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's good to see him. Nice turnaround on that.
Yes, so there it is. That was perfectly paused. Justin was talking about this where he reached behind and grabbed Ronnie's ankle and pulled it into a position similar to what we talk about with that half guard setup using the outside leg to pull the leg away.
Yeah.
It's putting the knee in a really awkward position. Let's slow it down just while we're here. So he grabs the ankle, pulls her ankle up, and makes it difficult for her to move with that. And gives him an
Nice.
opportunity to come out and around.
Yeah. Now that.
Killer.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things he said he had pulled off of Craig Jones' instructional.
Mm-hmm. And you've got a Kimura grip, effectively, you know, with a head and arm type, or kind of like a Kimura seatbelt grip.
Looks like we skipped it.
Very nice. You got to the back take. Both hooks in.
Gotta break her down to a side from here.
Yeah, she's very strong in this position. She likes to stay here. Using the long hook. Very nice. I know it's easier said than done, Justin, but I want to see you way heavier on the strangle attempts. Your legs right now are in prime position. Hooks, full body triangle. I don't give a shit what configuration it is. Your legs at that point in time are in prime attacking position. You need to switch from retention mode into attack, and I think that would really start pushing the pacing and get Veronica guessing on that. But altogether, I think great retention of the back. You were doing all the right things.
I want to see how Brandon handles this close guard from Cole. It looks like Cole is trying to wrist lock him. I couldn't tell. All right, so has an opportunity here to pass, right? This is where I would use my left hand to be reaching under, get a grip on Cole's leg and try to either high step or like horse kick back or something. Get Cole's foot off of my thigh, right, and then circle around the back. Especially since he's just sitting there like he's not even worried.
I like how you're hiding your feet, Brandon. And again, a lot of this is easier said than done on Cole, but working can't see what you're doing with his right arm on the left side of your body. I imagine you're trying to attack that side. But when Cole brings his arms up that high, I want to see your knee replacing where his elbow would be, right? So you want to be constantly climbing up his back, up his side with your knees. So there, as soon as he starts going up to address the other leg, you're either, underhooking and going for a back take. But even in the event that you're going to go for that back take, that right knee needs to climb up very, very high on Cole's left side.
Joe's staying real composed in this leg attack from Caleb.
He is.
That's a symptom or a sign of like finally understanding, I think, like the knee to knee line issue in a leg lock, right?
Yeah.
Like he's, where is it? Like right here. He knows he's got to get a little bit safer. So right there, Caleb recaptured. Joe stays calm, manages to get his knee free here, and now he knows he's not in too much trouble, so he's just gotta navigate the rest of the escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes for a counter. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good scramble. Good control by Caleb, hanging onto that leg. Like to see where he goes with that.
Did you see that from James and Duncan?
No, I
What was
didn't.
that?
I was looking at Brandon's comment in the chat. He let the wrist lock go and wanted my sandpaper head away from his face.
Duncan takes a shot on James up here in the corner,
Oh yeah.
and then James, it sucks, the pillar's in the way, but then James like sits through and re-rolls him
Flips him over.
and gets.
And
I imagine he
on
gets
top.
up on top with that headlock. I don't know if he
Yeah,
hit the
did you-
guillotine or not.
Did you get that, James? Yeah, it looks like
He walked away
finished
like he
something.
did.
Right. Yeah, it was a leg straight up
Yeah.
the middle. Nice. Good job.
Again. I always type my name instead of his. And Ronnie on the board. Oh, at the bell too.
Mora?
It was like more of a straight ankle or a straight arm.
Oh, okay.
Ronnie. We got Ronnie and Cole. Ronnie Coleman.
Lightweight, baby.
Like, wait. Oh, Joe
That was
getting
a
fancy. Okay,
Jeez. Landed on his feet.
that's purely Steven's fault. Let's look at that one more time.
That was
Give him
graceful,
the
though.
slow mo
Like,
treatment.
look at this shit.
Little tap dance in there.
Little step.
Stays nice and close.
Oof.
That was good.
Heck yeah.
That was really good.
That was nice.
I think where you see a lot of guys mess that up when they first start playing around with it is how far outside they are.
Yeah.
And he was just bearing down right on top of him, reached behind him. It
Yep.
was pretty.
And good composure by James. Not doing anything too rash.
Fast forward a bit here.
So James, I just wanted to call out, right? And I know without a coach, it's very tough to sense this, but I know you fast forwarded. Could you go back a little bit to where they were facing 180 degrees? keep going. So yeah, here, stop. So Joe's legs are open, okay, and I know you're pressuring in, to drive that shoulder down to the mat. Uh, um, but you could start looking in this type of scenario again. If somebody was coaching you, we would say, your legs are open, you need to start pummeling. And if you could kick your leg out towards, us to the camera angle right now, and then backstepping large around him, then you would be fully past his guard, right? Just to note, start feeling that stuff out. Like if you don't, if somebody's not absolutely clamping down on your leg, I'd like you to start testing that pummeling of the legs as you start circling around, because you very well could have a very simple pass from there.
Try to find the
Nice.
knee with your shoelaces.
Yep.
A little
Nice
bit
pummel.
higher.
Yeah. Then driving, but he drove his knee up high.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good alternative.
Yeah, and I like how much pressure you're giving giving Joe's head and shoulders there. That was good.
Yes. Ooh.
Joe just
Yeah,
like
you're telling me.
volunteered for that.
Boom.
Like he just
I don't know
like,
if he
"Yeah, here."
volunteered. He just. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, okay, that looked good. It looked like James. Okay, yeah, you hiked
Popped
his
his shoulder over. Oh yeah.
That was really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so
Very
good
nice.
that I thought Joe gave it to you, and
Yeah.
clearly he didn't. That was nice.
Good work.
I wish I could hit him that cleanly.
Yeah.
All those new followers we got, well, all the new lurkers we got in the chat, hit the follow button.
And Cole, stop being lazy and get your fucking knee up by the shoulder before you try and take the back.
Ooh,
Nice hip switch though.
yeah, yeah. A little, I mean, a little point of improvement here is it looked like he reached from way outside on this leg attack, right? Like it looked like he wanted to enter legs, but he's way
Sure.
overextended here. I would just set that up a little bit better just by bugging the feet, working your double kobushi, maybe sitting up for an ankle pick or whatever, and then being ready to shoot in and enter the legs. If James was a little bit closer to him, I think he would have been a bit more successful with that.
Sure. Yeah, it's actually been very difficult. The last time, it's been a minute since I've rolled with James, but the last time I remember rolling with him, it's still difficult to enter in his legs. He's very aware of people shooting in.
Yeah.
James, I'm really digging, and it seems like you're definitely digging the way that you're driving. Like, if you can't get, through that baseball slide, you're driving the knee across the hip line. So in this case, your knee starts out on Joe's right hip, and now you're on the inside, right? He relocks up the half guard, but then you just drive that knee straight across to the far hip and pin it down to the mat and take him out. Yeah, exactly, right. That's what we went over in class that day, and you'll see that. I'm glad that you recognize it just from class. It's very effective, and I think that's like the second or third time I've seen you hit that in this footage. great job replacing
That was good.
shoulder with the knee. Yeah, awesome job.
Fast forward a bit. So why are you using that double underhand sort of frame right here?
So that's a good question. Um, on somebody like Caleb, who's very very heavy um, on my chest, I would rather have him a little bit higher up so that I can potentially sneak out the back. I do that on certain people, and normally when I have that double unders position, it's when I'm trying to shuck somebody off and kind of go out the back door.
Yeah, I
And
don't think you
generally
ever
speaking,
do that on me because I'm probably not
no,
heavy enough.
yeah, generally speaking, it's when somebody is heavier than I am,
Yeah. I'll have to give that a
and
shot when my arm works.
his top pressure is getting exponentially more difficult to handle.
Yeah, we talk about knowing the rules so when you can, know them so you know when you can break them. And like, I would say this is an example of Caleb doing that right here, right? How many times have you sat through class and had like Coach Mike yell at you for high stepping over into someone's mount, right?
Yep.
But right here, I feel like he understands where your legs are. He understands what the threat is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if he gets his hand. Yep, he plants his hand there, right, to keep you from following as he steps over and then slams it home, right? Like he went over really quickly and beat you on the follow, so that it wasn't a problem. So, like I said, I wouldn't high step. I'm certainly not going to tell students to high step. If I can avoid it, I don't do it. But that was a time where it was just speed one, right? And you really gave yourself the fighting chance with posting on his leg and or posting on your leg and slowing it down.
So here I'm trying to do a roll, but he knows what I'm going for, so he takes that hand out very quickly. I'm trying to pin his right hand to his hips and roll him over the shoulder.
Roll him in this direction?
Yeah, in like a 45 towards my shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, now he's just too low to your hips.
Yep. So I'm trying to look for an effective frame to where I can actually start getting some of the pressure off. And it's not easy.
Yeah. Skip ahead a bit. Wait, is that Austin and Cole?
Joe and Cole.
Or Joe and Cole? That's probably a good one to watch too.
I'm not out of the woods yet, but I feel better about this position.
Yeah, this would be a good time to work that thing Justin did. If you
Yep.
reached around with your right arm, grabbed his ankle.
Yep. I think I decide to Granby through. If I don't. No, maybe not. Thought I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I did. That's what it was. I just barely rolled out of it. Just a shoulder roll.
Yeah.
And now I think you can see what I'm trying to set up here, right? Inashi. Entrance, snatch the leg, and now I can pop them down and start working attacks from there.
Yeah, I want to point out real quick with Joe and Cole. Right here, the way Joe's defending, he's completely given up his back and is also opening up his top arm for an arm bar. Something Cole should be jumping on.
Yep.
So if you watch this, Cole, keep that in mind for the upcoming competition training. Joe taking top position.
Hang on, how did Joe take top?
Yeah, so Cole just hip swept him. And then,
Oh, and then he just oopas him, essentially.
yeah.
Kinda. Yeah. Some. I am. Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, yeah. We both were.
Thank you. Sorry. I've been trying not to blow my nose all over the mic. Forgot to unmute. Yeah. Yeah, it looked like Austin, you were trying to set up an arm drag. One little thing, especially against like Mike and I and the higher belts, like I don't need you clubbing our heads, but you definitely need to be applying some head pressure here, right? You're pretty focused on the arm battle for grips. That's fine. But disrupting the head, getting Mike looking down at the mat, pulling the head and shucking it by, all those little things add up, right? And when he's I know when people like attack my head, attack collar ties a lot, it gets to the point where as they go to reach for my head, I'm reaching up and meeting their hand with my hand, right? So it's a way to kind of drag that wrist grip battle upwards, right? They're no longer thinking about, oh, this guy's grabbing my wrists only now. I can just focus right in front of me. They've got to start worrying about their head and deflecting your attempts. So it mix up your grip fighting a bit there, and you could have some really successful setups in the stand-up game. Man, we should work on the 4-figure leg lock with Austin. Like, just right here. It looks like something he could easily set up.
I was really expecting it. I was expecting it in my, which is kind of why I had my legs or my hands down like that to prepare to invert and and try and slip.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah. So Austin, I don't know. Have you guys gone over that? The two of you?
We have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Then we don't need to. I mean, I guess I'll say it for any other viewers who are curious, but rather than, what you may hear us call the trap triangle, or it's where you cross your ankles behind the guy's back, right? Typically you have one arm in, one arm out. standard triangle situation. When you've got both arms in, like Mike does here, if you can get your shoulder across, or I'm sorry, if you can get your leg across the shoulder line and like just above it, like this is Mike's shoulder line here. If Austin set up a triangle with his legs, a figure four triangle, this high up Mike's back with both arms in, that's what you may have heard of as a dead orchard. If you pay attention to 10th Planet nomenclature, figure four top lock is what we've been referring to it as in this stream. And there are just some of the nastiest arm bars, double arm bars, in that position.
And there's a choke, there's a strangle there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a really powerful position that unfortunately I don't work too much because my legs are short and my opponents aren't always as small as me, and it is one of the positions, one of few where there can be some physical limitations to your ability to do it. But Austin, probably, I don't think you have those limitations with those legs. So
yeah. So he does a really good job in this role of controlling my posture, and then he starts like doing this weird ass
almost put you down
behind. Yeah. And then I come in and try and I've got his legs controlled, so I'm not fearing the back take here.
Yeah, right here, as you started to go, Austin, as you started to go underneath, that's where you probably want to unlock your legs, I would think.
Yeah.
Again, I can't say I've been in that position too much, so it's hard to say. But that'll help you more quickly transition behind.
If it's did I get the one arm Kimura on this one? No.
Looks like you opt for a back take. Digging, a lot of hand fighting. Looks like you might get it there.
Yeah.
You're doing more of a high ball ride.
I am.
I feel like you've been doing that like crazy now.
It's been very tough with everybody trying to do hip escapes and like getting their hips out. It's a good thing. The key with the high ball ride though is getting your knee on top of the hip. Like I have to get my knee to ride on top of the hip. If you ride too low, then you have no hip control, right? But see how my left thigh and my left knee is riding over top of Austin's left hip. Yeah. If it falls below that, right, and all I'm doing is effectively just trapping his bottom leg.
Yeah, he can
out. Still roll right out.
Yeah. All right, you and Joe.
Yeah, this.
So you're doing the same kind of thing to him that we were talking about earlier, right? He's committed on one side. If you start to take him off balance, he's either got to base out and let go of the upper body grip or get swept.
Right. And in that transition, for some reason, I thought I do remember thinking that I was going to end up with underhook, and I never did. And so I was like, yeah.
Quick revisit to Caleb and Austin playing patty cake, and they all fall down. Ring around the rosy.
Double card pull. Illegal.
It was a moment.
It was a moment.
straight ankle. He's so close to tapping. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, so like I felt like it was gonna get really really tight, so I went back and checked with him. He was like, "Yeah, I was gonna tap."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay."
Give you the hover hand.
Yep.
Caleb had a nice. Looks like he controlled that
Armbar.
transition pretty well to the armbar.
Very nice.
Let's see how he set that up.
Top tier armbar defense. Oh yeah, dude, let's watch this.
Oh, okay.
Like zoom in.
All right, hold
I
on.
want to see. I want to see what he does.
Let me go back.
We went over it after class.
All right. It's gonna be hard to see.
All right, so
So
Yeah,
he's got a
'cause Caleb
shin
was
pin
not
over
happy.
your arm.
steps over.
Start to roll out. He
This is it's like the Gordon Ryan one, right? Except for he didn't have to reach over and grab the legs. He did the same thing. Kick over. I think you know what I'm talking about, Matt.
yeah, yeah.
But check the pause it real quick and see if we can find the arm configuration back up.
It's so hard to see. Just a jumble of limbs.
So the arm that's under attack is in between both of his legs.
Yeah, it's
And
this
he's
arm
got his
here.
feet crossed. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's got his feet crossed. And
he's
he's
grabbing
like,
his own wrist.
you're right. Like around his leg,
Yeah.
you know? On the outside of his left leg, he's
So-
grabbing his
It's-
own wrist.
It's funny because, like, how many times have you dealt with the guy who, like, hides his arms and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, now I gotta dig this arm out. And Austin's like, bitch, dig all of my limbs apart.
Yeah.
It's like you were
Let me
figure
add.
fouring the legs. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. You pretty much threw everything but the kitchen sink at hiding your arm. And then, okay, so
And now he's
so
grabbing his own leg. You see that shit?
his cross-side leg, yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the only, well, not the only thing, but here's something I don't like about this is you have completely shut down your ability to hitchhike escape, and I think if your elbow is still caught, and I can't tell because I don't have a bird's eye view, but like if your elbow's still caught, it's gonna be really hard to roll towards him and extract your elbow like you typically try to do. So you've kind of limited your movement here, but you've given yourself like. It looks like Caleb doesn't have his leg over your face, right? So where you've shut yourself down with that previous grip, you've given yourself a chance to use your free arm to free your head and shoulders. So I guess there's a significant trade-off there. Thought I could trap my arm in between my leg or something. Yeah, exactly.
And that crossface leg is the most critical leg. So
Look at that
I
shit.
applaud that, right? Like knowing
That's fun.
that's pretty awesome.
that's cool. I'm not gonna do it, but it's pretty cool.
No.
I don't even know if I could do it.
Yeah. It's definitely frustrating for Caleb. I'm in my own armbar predicament over here with Joe.
Let's zoom out. Let's see what Joe got here. Oh wow. So what I don't like about this position for Joe is if he's super committed on the arm, and like let's say you have an equal grip on him, if you just decided to roll to your left, he very well may face plant, like,
Yeah.
and he's up there, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that could be a little sketchy. And two really fun rolls to end the night. Yeah, see, you're doing exactly what we're all used to, which is in and of itself a pain in the ass to try to rip open.
Right.
And then Austin's just like, yeah, deal with my legs too.
Said he's gonna hold a seminar.
yeah, yeah. Put out your instructional. Man, that was good. Really good stuff tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let's see, we got gi class tomorrow, and remember, this Sunday we will not be doing the stream, but we'll be back at it again on Wednesday. What else? Follow us if you haven't. We appreciate it. We're getting our number up there, so it looks really good. If you are catching this, I guess if you didn't make the streams, you know you can always watch them live on Twitch, or watch them on Twitch, or we post them on YouTube. So subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. What else? Any other business? Anything from class?
Yeah, bring questions to class. You know, if you're new to the stream or just lurking or whatever, feel free to engage in the chat. You know, we're always open to trying to help in jiu-jitsu related, you know, problems and things of that nature. Any questions, so hit us up in the chat.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Justin. We'll see all the rest of you at class and on here next Wednesday. Trim your nails, do your laundry.
Yeah, don't be stinky.
And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everybody.
Later.
Thank you.